Ladies, gentlemen, Speakerhead Squad, what is going on? It is your boy Speakerhead, and welcome back to another video. If you've watched any of my videos in the past, there's a pretty good chance that either you're interested in Transformers or you own some figures. And when it comes to these figures, every single one of them has their own positives and negatives. So today I wanted to talk about some of the things that we love and hate about our Transformer figures. And to join me on this discussion, we have Deluxe Baldwin, Enewtabie, and Kato's collections. And I'll say right away, if you haven't already checked any of these guys out, definitely go check them out. They've been doing this for a lot longer than me, and they all do fantastic content. But before we get into this topic, if you enjoy any of this sort of content and want to see more of it, make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help me out. I made it a personal goal to reach 1,000 subscribers by 2024, so if you want to help me reach that goal, make sure to subscribe. Last thing I want to mention, if you enjoy any of the music in this video or just want to support the channel in general, it's all part of my royalty-free music label, Speakerhead Studios. All the music on this label is completely royalty-free, so go ahead and use it for any of your content creating needs. So now that we got all that out of the way, let's actually talk about what makes a good Transformer figure.
Good and bad Transformer figures. It's kind of something that a lot of people, they don't really think about what actually makes a good Transformer figure, because at least compared to many other figures, there's a lot more that has to go into Transformers. So like, good example, like we were just talking about like WWE and like wrestling and stuff, like those types of figures, or even like NECA toys or anything where it's just like a regular action figure. There's a lot less work that needs to go in them because they don't need to transform, you know what I'm saying? Or at least not a major amount of engineering that needs to go into it compared to our Transformer figures. I think there's a lot of things that we can point out that are actually good on figures that we'd like to see in future figures, and there's many things that we probably don't want to see on future figures. But to start this off, we are just going to talk about not what makes a good figure, but I think what makes a bad figure, because there's a lot of things that can make a really cool, good figure. But I think there's a few main things that can really just make a figure go from like amazing to absolute garbage, in my opinion. Just
it's called Hasbro.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Hey, it's a 50-50 shot, because me and many people talked about, by the way, Kato, thank you for the upgrade kit, but this Tarn
awesome.
is amazing. This is definitely got to be one of the best figures they've released this year. When it comes to some stuff that I think are bad for Transformer figures, one of the main things that bugs me is always going to be if a piece of the transformation gets in the way of the actual articulation of the robot mode. And for an example, and I'm not going to be showing all of them. This is more of just for my reference, just having my figures here. But this guy is a good example with his little tabs that get in the, or his little arm things that get in the way. So you can't even have his arms really going straight. It's like not really possible. So that's kind of one of my major things when it comes to a bad Transformer figure. If it takes away from the actual articulation and takes away from the enjoyment of the actual robot mode, I feel like that could be something that could be adjusted on the figure during the actual like process of creating it to make it so it doesn't get in the way. I know you can't do it with every figure, but that's something that I personally think is one of my major gripes when it comes to like what makes a bad figure, because no matter what figure it is, it can look amazing, beautiful paint job. If it has a crappy time articulating because stuff gets in the way, it just doesn't seem like a very fun figure.
To me, I don't like, there's too many panels, right? So if you've got a panel that flips over, a panel flips over again, it flips over again. The hardest part about that is not really the transformation, but it seems to me when it goes to the alt mode, it's a pain in the butt to keep it together, right? True. So if it's a vehicle, or just say it's a helicopter, for example, or anything like that, let me put this panel in place. Okay, this one's still popped out. So this one, let me push this one in. This one's popped out.
Magic Square is doing that a lot right now.
Magic Square does it a lot.
And there's some
the Moon Studio train bots were bad about that.
But
yeah, panels can, especially if it's a lot of panels, like a couple panels here and there, like sure, whatever. But when it comes to like a lot, like one that comes to my mind is that Magic Square Ironhide. I know we were talking about Magic Square, but specifically that Ironhide has a lot of panels.
Yeah.
If you're going to do panels like that, then the end result has to tab in perfectly. Like it needs to be.
They're plastic.
Where if you're tightening one panel, you're not pushing in another one, and it comes a collapse. It's got to be designed to the point where if you're going to be a big panel former, then the last step needs to be nice and firm.
Yeah, they got
Magic Square. with Magic Square, plus their tabs are kind of weird too. They're kind of like a triangle kind of
Yeah,
thing going on.
that dovetail.
Yeah, so when you're trying to tab it in, and plus with the plastic quality they use, with the soft plastic, sometimes it's a pain in the butt to get one side, and then like I said, you untap something on the other side, so you have to line it up just correctly, and it's kind of frustrating, especially when you're doing it on camera, where you're trying to do everything behind.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah. Man, I think I talked about this last night. One thing I hate, especially with alt mode, I hate mushroom tires. Damn it, Hasbro! I wish you would stop doing that. You have two perfect tires in the back, and then you got two mushroom. It makes that thing look so fugly. It just ruins everything for me. I hate mushroom pegs for a passion. I wish they would stop doing that crap. I don't know why they do it. Are you saving that much money by doing that? By adding a little extra plastic to make the wheels look good on both sides? It's like I hate when Hasbro does that. So that's one of my biggest pet peeves, especially in alt mode. Bot mode, same thing with Speaker. What he said, if stuff gets away, I did the hurricane, that wall spinner thing. It has the articulation, but stuff just gets in the way. And Iron Factory has that problem now too. They've had that problem for a while. They're so beefy and chunky that stuff gets in the way. Their Samurai series stuff, I love it. Looks great.
It looks amazing.
Articulated, stuff just gets in the way. The shoulder pads. They got the 80s woodworker shoulder pads, and they got the stuff just when you try to articulate, you got to move stuff out of the way just to get it into a good position. So that's another on my role.
Yeah, I love Iron Factory, but one of my biggest pet peeves with them is that a lot of their transformations don't necessarily tab into anything. It's just folded over and hope that stays. Put it in the right position. Like, bro, just add a tab. Just add a tab so I can sit it there. Especially with the samurai stuff, it's except for Grimlock. That thing is darn near perfect. That Iron Factory
I love
Grimlock.
that Grimlock. He's a beast. He's beefy too, man.
Yeah, he's awesome.
I think they're doing the Fallen. They're retooling him for the Fallen. So that looks pretty good.
Pet peeve for me, I cannot stand visible waffles. I think it looks horrible. It's such an easy fix, and you can tell it's an easy fix because every third-party 3D printing company in the world fixes them with just a couple of little things. And if you're going to raise the prices to be like a $40, I guess Voyagers don't have that problem as much as like Deluxe.
It's not too bad.
Yeah, a lot of the Voyagers, they kind of, I think all the budget goes to them, and then the Deluxes kind of eat they're in the Rosa Parks seats back there. Just
why have waffles in the back?
Oh yeah, waffles in the back of the head, and when they're like, sometimes I guess it depends on the figure, but like they can do it because of Skyquake and Tarn. They're darn near perfect.
Yeah.
But on the Deluxes, when you got like a huge gap in the back of the calf, or especially here, like in the forearm, I think that's just
all you gotta do is add a flap.
Just add a freaking flap, man. Just do something.
Dude, that's Skyquake. Like you just said, the way at first I thought, oh my god, this is gonna have waffles, but then they had something slide in.
Yep.
To take the cover. It's like
that's
that is
smart.
Freaking genius. Like the new the Rise of the Beast, the Cheetah. He has something on his form which I thought was pretty cool. It kind of when he goes into cheetah mode, there's a big gap underneath his where his abdomen is in the area, but there's a flap that from his forearm that goes up and hides that. I'm like, that little simple thing right there, you could do that all the freaking time.
Yeah,
it would fix everything.
Especially if you're going to jump the price up. The only other thing that I really don't like is more of a QC issue is I can't stand floppy bits.
Yeah.
I don't like floppy bits when I get out of the shower. I don't like floppy bits on the transformer. Yeah, I hate that. Like a thigh or you pick something up and the knee just folds over on its own. And I think Trax was bad about that turd.
Yeah, but this stuff right here really fixes everything.
Yeah, I agree, and I've got some Kikis around here that I use to do that.
You shouldn't have to do that though.
Yeah, it should just be good as is. You should, as the customer, shouldn't have to be going and fixing up your figures you buy brand new.
No, you shouldn't. I absolutely agree, and that's why, like, if I review something, I won't fix it before I review it. I'm just gonna. I'll fix it after. But that goes for everything. That goes for action figures. That goes for whatever. Some Joe Classified stuff has been pretty floppy too. So that goes for pretty much everything. That is a huge
you shouldn't have to
nuisance.
heat up stuff too as well. If you're talking about Classified, I've heard Balaverse. Now, for me, Balaverse, I've had a good run. I haven't had to actually heat up anything, but I've heard a lot of people have had to actually soak their stuff in hot water.
That bothers me less than other stuff because I mean a lot of that has to do with the fact what plastic does in different weather and
that is true.
now what I will say about what you're saying is paint. So when a figure is heavily painted and the paint has sealed the joint up and then you've got to get in there and dig that out. Like I think NECA has been pretty bad about that in the past, not in a long time, but like when you can't bend an elbow because the paint has sealed the joint,
when they do the
gold
figures,
I can't stand.
When they do like the gold figures, all gold, Magic Square's done that, New Age's done that. Sometimes it's a little tight in there when you're doing the
because they don't make up for the tolerances, they just paint over a figure they've already got.
Especially that weapons that go in hands or something. If the handle is painted, going into the hand, that's a difficult kind of thing.
You just reminded me of probably my biggest pet peeve, and one of my favorite lines right now suffers from it, and that is weapon storage. Action figure, Transformer, whatever. Like
it sounds little, but it's important.
Yeah, if you're going to give me 10 weapons, then give me a place to put 10 weapons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Magic Square's bad about that. They give you tons of weapons now, and there's no.
Well, I love. One of my favorite things right now is Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, and really my only negative for that whole line so far is like you've got great weapons, give me a place to put them. And I think they should have. I want to talk to Jason. He should do a Build-A-Figure set with each one, where you get a piece of a weapons rack, like a weapons rack, so at least you can display all the weapons together. But
like classified, you got the backpack and you can usually store everything.
Action Force Valorverse is great for that, putting everything in a backpack, and G.I. Joe for the most part, you can put everything on a figure.
They got a lot better about it.
Yeah. But anyway, that's probably actually my biggest pet peeve, is I don't want to have to like extra hands and extra head sculpts. That's a different story. But weapons, give me a place to put them.
Yeah, especially if you're going to be having it in like with the figure at all times. Like you're not someone who usually keeps your weapons like off the side. Like good example, I would love that because I keep every single one of my weapons in bins in my little footstool that's behind me here. I just keep it opens up. I just throw everything in there. I'll admit, lost a lot of Legend Scale stuff, a lot of it, but that's my fault. And maybe Doug's from eating it, but that's aside the point. Bringing it back to your other point, Kato, of what you don't like when it comes to like tolerance and stuff. Something that is also a major pet peeve to me is it has to do, it's a few separate things, but it all comes down to ratchet joints. If it's a cheap ratchet joint that breaks, that is annoying, like really annoying. Or there's, even if it's like not one of the little like pieces of the actual thing, just the actual mechanism just completely breaks. So you just got floppy legs that need to be supported. That's a huge negative for any figure, especially once again, like Legend Scale, you don't really need it. Maybe for like the Omega Supreme, that's nice to have.
I was going to mention that the Pengu toys, that Michael from New Age makes a huge difference. I think my Pengu toys now is already starting to weaken. I mean, it has no no ratchet and it's just tension. And then Michael, he's going to be around for years. I mean, his ratchet joints will be good. So yeah, that's a good example of those two.
Studio Series Grimlock was bad. Mine anyway. Mine. The ratchet was jacked up. It was a QC issue, and it's hard for him to stand in dyno mode without looking like he's popping a squat because that one knee joint just won't lock in and won't ratchet. But I know it's a fix. You can spin that ratchet around. It was another QC problem.
The last thing I'll mention, at least coming back to the ratchets, is, and this is more of a personal thing, this can vary from person to person, but I hate it when the ratchet joints are too far apart from each other, if you know what I mean. So I'd say my main example of it, I don't know where the hell it is back there. I'm not even going to attempt to find it, but the Fans Toys Soundwave, I love that thing. It is an amazing figure, but I hate the ratchets in the arms because if just bringing it out one makes it too wide, and if you keep it in, it just looks completely straight, which bugs me a lot because that little tiny shoulder tension of just doing little tiny movements, you need that compared to maybe the leg joints where you don't need as much like between each little thing. But I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the word, so excuse me for that. But it's like just the little teeth of the actual gear. They need to be small enough because once again, it's great if they're there and they're good, but it bugs me because it's like you're almost limiting the articulation because of that, because you have this great like ratchets, but you can only get them into like certain points. Or another one is the Studio Series Hot Rod. I don't know if you guys have messed with that Studio Series Hot Rod. The shoulders on that, if you guys kind of know, they're a little wonky.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't really get them into a good position. That could be a whole nother pet peeve, to be honest, just wonky arms, but we'll stick with the ratchet joints as my final bit. But just having good quality ratchet joints that won't break and also have like enough distance to actually properly get good poses instead of it being like 1, 2, 3. Okay, you're out of ratchets, you know, you got 3 positions.
Yep. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Like if you, especially on some figures where the ratchets the teeth are too far apart in the thighs, and you go from like straight up and down legs to way too much of an A stand.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's just like, there needs to be a nice little like middle ground of like not too little where it doesn't even feel like you can do really small teeth and just have that little soft ratchet, but other than that, it's like you can't have too large of teeth, or else it's just going to make it impractical for many figures to pose in decent positions. So we're going to move on from talking about the negatives Transformers, because that's boring. We want to talk about the fun stuff of Transformers. So let's actually talk about some things that make a good Transformer. The main thing I love is kind of what you're talking about, Deluxe, with the pieces coming out whenever you move a part and it gets covered, or if you're doing a transformation and a piece comes out. I love it when a company takes the time, and because I just have them here, good example, this New Age Devastator, how when you actually move the knees, forgot where my camera was located, but there's actual stuff that comes out and is shown instead of it, once again, just being kind of plain plastic. Yeah, it looks cool. I know that Pangu Toys is like a KO or whatever you want to call it of the what's called DX9. Yeah, thank you. But I know that's that one, because of that, it has some molding in similar to the Devastator with having that molding in. So I'd say that's a little thing that makes a good figure, but when it comes to just general stuff for every figure, I definitely gotta say making sure your figure doesn't have a heavy backpack. It is something so many figure companies struggle to do. But it is so annoying to have this amazing figure, but it just will not stand up because it just is so backy. That's kind of going back to negatives, but mainly just like having a proportioned figure where it's not leaning too much forward and not leaning too much back. That nice, like, what's it called? The balance in between a person, just making sure that's all nice. And then just one final one is, I guess, making sure all posability is like up to standard for today's age. I know that can mean a lot of different things, but if you compare to some figures maybe 10 years ago, the posability is not as solid as some of these more modern ones, especially when it comes to figures like Legend scale, where there was like Hot Soldiers, which, oh my gosh, those are horrible. And now we've gotten New Age, Magic Square, all these other KO and third-party Legend scale companies that, once again, it's like a standard of, good example, there should be no figure these days that should not have a bicep swivel. I feel like that's a very standard thing most figures should have, just because it's like, I don't know, it's, or else you're always going to have the T-pose arms, you know what I'm saying? Your arms aren't able to actually rotate in. Like, yeah, I'd say that probably is my main thing, is just making sure that like the posability on joints, specifically for like arms and just general modern day articulation, is met up to standard. Because I've seen some figures that have been released today where it's just like, figures have been doing this for years and you couldn't figure it out on this $200 figure how to make, I don't know, a waist or a wrist swivel or something minimal like that. But I know it depends on each figure and size and everything, but at least when it comes to, let's say, your average like Voyager class figure, let's just assume that size. For your average Voyager class figure, you should have some sort of bicep swivel, you should have some sort of leg swivel. It shouldn't all just be one solid piece, you know. But
you should have waist swivel.
That's another one.
You should have waist swivel. And I know some figures don't really allow for it because of how they transform, but work that crap out. Be able to turn the waist.
I'll just say my example of that, as you mentioned, the deformation space Starscreams. I know so many Starscreams have issues having a waist swivel. That puppy's got a waist swivel, which is awesome. I love it.
Part of a good Transformer, it needs to be. I'm a little different. It needs to be either look close enough to the source material that it's accurate to whatever source material that is. Whether it's, if it's tuned, then make it look as much like that as possible. If it's toy, make it as much like that as possible. If it's Bayverse, the problem with Bayverse is those things were never meant to transform anyway,
Throw
so
it in
they
the
got to
blender.
try to make that work as much as possible. And companies do that. Third-party companies make some of the best Bayverse figures out there because
Unique
they spend the
toys.
money. Yeah, unique toys. They do some absolute magic with like Megatron and was it Hot Rod? They did really well on.
Yeah,
Prime.
They did a
Prime. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, and that's some genius engineering. Whoever is back behind the scenes making that work, because they had to look at that original design and go, you want this to do this? Okay. But yeah, so looking like the source material. On the flip side of that, I'm a big fan of stylized bots, things like King toys and stuff like that. If you're gonna make like an homage figure like King Toys does so well, like Iron Factory does so well. To my previous point, you got companies like Fans Hobby that make like awesome nostalgic figures. Then you've got Iron Factory and King Toys that do a great job with stylized stuff. But then you've got that what I didn't collect, and I think Deluxe you did some of them that I forget who was making the aerial bots. They're all silver. What are they?
Zeta.
Was that Zeta too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and those things seem like they're awesomely stylized, but they're also a pain in the tank to mess with. Apparently,
Yeah, the arm bots were kind of terrible.
Yeah, so if you're gonna make something that's an homage, or if Hasbro's gonna make something that is an homage to like G1 or Beast Wars or whatever, make it look as much like that as possible. That weird middle ground of like giving up design in order to, like, I don't like it when one bot has to suffer, like one form has to suffer. You know what I'm saying? And I think triple changers do that more than anything, where like one mode has to suck. I don't like that. Like, what? Just spend some more time engineering it. Easy for me to say. I don't have to do it, but just make it look like it's supposed to look. That makes a really good. I mean, that's what draws my eye to it, because most of us are going to transform our figure, put it on the shelf, so it needs to look as much like what we picture it needs to look like if it's just going to sit there. Another thing is, I would say articulation, but quite honestly, like I said, my figures are A-stancing back there, so articulation, as much as I like showing it off, doesn't really mean anything. Like to me, like I want it to in my head, but it really doesn't, because they sit back there for years and don't really do much. But think about the little things, like you were saying about the ratchets, the teeth ratchets that separate too far. If you've got a loose waist and a heavy backpack, and the guy's just sitting back there like Weekend at Bernie's the whole time, doing that weird Weekend at Bernie's dance because the backpack's too heavy. Cover the gaps. Like the exact opposite of what I said before. Fill those gaps in so that it looks like a whole complete figure, and not just like don't do anything Titans Return did. Right? Don't do any of that.
You mean Combiner Wars, man? Titan Returns.
Combiner Wars. You're right. Combiner
Wars was a terrible, but
yeah.
I think an MP figure should never have waffles at all. As much
That's 100% agreed.
Yeah.
You should never. I don't care if it's the gun. I don't care if it's the back of the head, back of that. You should never ever have a gap with a third party with a MP scale transformer.
Yep.
Agreed.
As you kind of were saying, third party and mainline. Like, I don't think Hasbro. I don't think Takara gets a pass in that either. I don't care if they're easy or they need to look good.
Yeah.
Yep.
My one things I love is I'm going to go with articulation. If you have an ab crunch, you better be able to look up. I think that is
100%.
That is a waste of an ab crunch. If you are ab crunching down, you're just looking at your peener. That's all you're doing. There's no reason to have an ab crunch and not to be able to put a little ball peg or something in there, or a hinge where you can look up. That's a lazy, just plain lazy. It's just a waste of an ab crunch to me, to be honest.
Same with flying characters. If you have a flying character,
sure,
you should be able to look forward.
You should be able to look up. Another thing I really like is paint wise, like when you have a molded detail or sculpt work or anything like that, and you paint it, I think it makes it look a whole lot better. It does look good, just molded. But man, if you just add a little silver or a gunmetal gray or something like that, gunmetal silver, something like that, it kind of draws your eye to it. Like with I'll mention with Omega Supreme, Pango Toys, they painted the little spots here and there, little sculpt work in there. Michael did not.
Now, did not. I don't have them yet, so I don't know.
Well, but I also say that they got another version coming out, another painted version of the EX
That's
version.
fair.
So that might do that. So this was just like the regular, here's what we got. But Pango Toys did a little job with just a little paint, a little silver here and there. It really draws it out for me, and I think it looks a lot better when they paint the scope work and everything. So, articulation, I love to post. I like to take pictures of my stuff. So if you can pose well, but I hate when they have an ab crunch and they can't look up, and they're just like staring down, just like womp womp. So
yeah,
that's mine.
That Rise of the Beast Prime is guilty of that paint thing because it's actually a really nice looking figure. But that entire ab area that's sculpted really well, it just looks
all gray plastic.
Boring.
If you would
gray.
add a little paint, little silver, gray right there.
Yeah,
It makes a lot better right there.
And I think that's once again, as I was stating before, that's one of those little things that a lot of people usually don't think about when it comes to their figures. But I'm super glad that you mentioned that, Deluxe, because like I said, it's something people don't think about, but it is super important to make, to completely change the look of a figure. Like if you have a figure which has that details and has it not painted at all, compared to a version that has all those little details painted, that painted version is going to look way better and way more interesting than the plain version. So I'm glad you mentioned that. That's a super important. Same with the head sculpt.
New Age does that. If you don't know by now, New Age will get the money for their repaints.
Oh
yeah.
Most people wait for the EX version usually because it's going to be it looks a lot better than everything.
Oh, I was just going to say quickly about the New Age thing. I'm interested that they're actually coming out with even more variants, like the dead version. I think that's a cool little way of bringing a different version of it out. If people miss the original run, at least it's like the same G1 toy, but just a little dirty. So that I personally think it's cool.
So I'm a big tune guy. So to me, if a figure looks good, tune accurate to my perception in both modes, then it's a clear winner. This
winner.
is the height of that. This bot looks fantastic in both modes. Transformation is fantastic. I mean, look at this thing. It's
gorgeous.
I still need to pick one up, which pisses me off.
Just the legs on the bot mode, really. They're kind of, but they're supposed to have covers. I don't know when.
Yeah.
Go to
TF Safari.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Covers? Do they have the covers?
Yeah, no, this one didn't.
No, I was asking Kato.
This is the 1-to-1 KO.
Yeah,
you don't like it, but it comes with the covers built into it.
Covers already, yeah.
But
I thought New Age was supposed to send out
Deluxe, I think if I remember correctly, I could be wrong in this, but I could have swore they said that they were going to try to package it in with their next Dinobot. But once again, that was when it was originally first announced and people were complaining about. So I couldn't even remember if that's still accurate.
They may do it as sludge. Okay, they do it as sludge. That's pretty cool.
I thought that's what I heard, but like I said, I could be wrong. Or that information changed. Go ahead, man. Sorry, no, our bad.
Yeah, so he's got stuff. So, this is another example. This is directly out of episode 1, right? Cartoon looks just like Jazz from the 2 seconds that you see him transforming on the elevator or whatever. Terrific. And the Bumblebee doesn't look that good in robot mode, but the vehicle mode is really good. So I just keep them in vehicle mode. But that's, to me, if they look good, they're tune accurate, just like Fans Toy stuff. To me, Fans Toy stuff, for the most part, in both modes, looks more tuned than anything Takara does. That's why I get, Mirage, Huffer, the bots I really like, Sea Spray, all those guys look just like the cartoon in both modes, even for Masterpiece. So that's something I like. I think it makes a great figure.
Yeah, I mean, that's honestly an important part, which a lot of people, once again, they don't really think about it, but it is super important to if you're not happy with the robot mode in bot mode, what's the point of buying the figure, So it's when you're especially if you're aiming for G1, if you already have an idea and a literal drawings of what this stuff should look like, it shouldn't be drastically changed, So good example going back to the Jazz, the Origin Jazz, just because it was on screen for a few seconds, they still came out with a from what I think is a pretty good looking like jazz Cybertronian mode.
Yeah.
So as long as they actually stick to what they're trying to do and don't try to make anything weird or fancy. It's like, oh, well, let's make this style twist to it. You know, it's like, no, we just want G1. Just don't make it difficult. Give us what we want.
A good figure. I mean, anything that mostly New Age does, I think is a good figure. It looks good. I think Fans Toys somehow has something to do with New Age, because just the sculpt and the paint and the way it looks like, you know, that Michael looks really good. You know, see if you get the Grimlock is good.
I was gonna say I got
also,
their Jetfire right here, which is also
Jetfire,
pretty dang good.
Whatever they usually do, I mean, I'm in. I'm always in for New Age. Lately, you know, like you said, that Skyquake, I think that's just almost perfect. Tarn, they hit it. They knocked it out of the park with the Voyagers. They had the G2 G-Axis was good.
Yeah, that was really good.
I didn't pick it up, but I heard good things.
I think Voyager, that's where the money's going, is Voyager, and you know, Deluxes are just you know hit and miss here. You know, they'll have a good one, and then they'll have a bad one, and then just but with Voyagers, I think they do a really good job so far with the main line. But man, I love that I love the, like I said in my review with the Hurricane with the Wasp Hunter. I love the concept of it. I love that they take a Beast Wars figure and kind of make it, they modernize it, you know, make it modern and everything with the helicopter. It's a helicopter mode, but the transformation is a pain in the butt. They're just, it feels like I'm going to maybe snap something if you move it. So, but it doesn't tab well in bot mode. But man, if they would have put more effort into the bot, I think it would have been a great transform and just fun. I don't understand why now people are making it so hard to transform stuff. Sometimes it just ruins. I mean, it's just, a lot of people, and I said a lot of people love that stuff that you do. That's awesome, but I don't want to sit there for 40 minutes trying to transform, 45 minutes transforming a masterpiece figure. Yeah. You know, it's just not fun. You know, and then
the idea that difficulty equals quality is horrible, and Mastermind Creations proves that wrong almost every time.
Yeah, Mastermind MMC is a great company. They, transformation really. God, that X-Trans bots, Streetwise. Oh my God!
I heard many bad things about that.
Fans Toys Jazz. I wanted to throw them damn things. I didn't review them because I couldn't transform them. I just didn't want to sit there on camera and spend 2 hours trying to transform something. It's just like, it's not fun. It's just not fun.
Saying earlier about like what an example of like a good transformer.
At least in your eyes, what you'd think would be a good transformer.
This is still my favorite figure of all time. It's my favorite figure in my collection. It's the TFC homage to G.I. Joe versus Transformers. It's Optimus Prime, but it's not Optimus Prime. Fun to transform. Every piece does exactly what it's supposed to do. It's in my eyes, this is like the perfect transformer for third party. I mean,
it looks sick.
It's so good. I want to buy every version of it, but I can't do it. I'm happy with this one. I think I would buy the original red and blue one if I could get my hands on that.
That's where I saw it from. Okay.
Yeah.
Is he hard to find, the red one? I think he's hard to find.
I think so. I think he's hard to find. They need to re-release him, but they keep coming up with new versions. But like all the accessories for this thing, like this is the nuclear blast one, so it has the one large nuclear missile that sits back there. But the way that transforms and does stuff, it's a solid figure. Like I said, when every single piece of a transformer does what it's supposed to do, and you don't have to like bend over backwards to put a tab in somewhere. It's like you fold it, the tab goes where it needs to go, everything tucks in the way it should. And I mean, it's honestly, the Megatron that goes along with this that's up there is the same example. I mean, TFC has screwed up a lot of stuff. Like their Abominus is abominable. But these figures that they're doing with this, I would like them just to keep doing that. Do Soundwave as a Hiss tank. Keep going with this, and like the Megatron as Destro's Dominator is genius. Great figure. But that is how you do a third party figure, an homage to a G1, but not being G1, and makes it awesome. Absolutely great figure.
I love the Dr. Wu Triptychon.
Oh yeah.
Energy Dragon. I think what they did with that, with the to have 4 modes, which there's actually more than 4 modes. People have made some fan stuff, but to make something that small and to get I know the transformation is simple. Just basically open up the legs and move them around a little bit, but I think that's a pretty cool concept, and I really hope they do like Metroplex, Fort Max, and Scorponok and Omega. I really hope they do those because they're really fun. They're awesome to play, mess around with. Easy to transform, like I said, back and forth. Like I said, I love Legends. I mean, you can sit down, spend about 5-10 minutes, and some of them Magic Square for some reason they're getting a little harder, giggity, to transform their stuff. But I still, it's kind of it's hard, but it's satisfying. More giggity.
Yeah, giggity again.
Giggity.
Well, I was gonna say, like you were saying, it's not like an MP where it takes you 45
Yeah, you don't
minutes.
want to throw it across. Ironhide, Hound. I think it started with Prime, the version 2. After the transformation, you're like, oh, okay, that was fun. It was, more. There's more panels and stuff and everything. But I think once you get to the end result, it looks good, and you're satisfied. Instead of like I said, Jazz or something, or some of the harder stuff, you're just like, screw this thing. I don't ever want to play Transformers again ever in my life because this is just stupid. But
if anyone knows how to satisfy, it's the luck.
Damn right. But yeah, just the Legends. You sit down, take about 15 minutes, and you can transform them from bot mode to alt mode, and you're done. You're having a good time.
So, New Age Galvatron, Darius, tremendous figure, and really the first time where I said, "Dang, New Age is stellar." It looks just like it should. It looks like the Fans Toy Sovereign, but like shrunk down to like 4 inches. It really does. Just tremendous. The head sculpt on it is just fantastic. Even comes with a little chain to hang the.
Instead of a little plastic. That's a nice.
It actually looks pretty good.
Unlike what's it called, the Kingdom Galvatron that came with that crappy chain.
Plastic chain. Yeah,
that makes a big difference, man. Everybody wants New Age to upgrade their stuff, but I don't. Leave it.
No, I'm perfectly fine how they are.
Leave them Legends and don't upscale them. I don't.
Yeah, don't do that.
What just is? I'm fine if they test the waters with like maybe not another Optimus Prime. Let's not get another one of those. But...
Dude, they're okay. Sorry, you talk about their secret mold. Their secret mold is one of my favorite molds. Their transformations, the way the leg transforms, it's just freaking awesome. It's kind of bunched up. It looks a little bunched up at the end of it, but the transformation for that secret mode is fun. I love transforming Starscream. Any of the secrets from New Age, really really fun.
I definitely agree with that. Those things are like, and just from the 3 I own, I want to pick up more, but my main problem is I'm trying to just get like one mold of every character, and then I'll start working on getting like repaints. But it's like, man, if I start collecting Seekers, that's gonna be a lot of money.
Oh, yeah, that's a whole lot of money.
Oh yeah, they add up.
The worst is very easy. It's tracks, because
oh my god.
So not only do you do a fold out hand, which is, if you're going to do it, okay, I get it. But why would you put the 5mm port on the other side? Let me look through here because I can see all you.
Yeah.
It's floppy out of the box. Okay, let's take that out of the equation.
Doesn't tab.
But why in the damn hell would you have feet and legs like this?
Yep.
That is fun.
Everything about that figure is trash.
I always like to tell this story with my. Sorry to cut you off, Deluxe. I like telling the story. I've bought, I believe, 2 or 3 of them, and I've had to return all of them for manufacturing issues, one reason or another. One was the actual hood piece. One of the hood pieces was completely warped and looked like it was burnt to a crisp almost. It was very weird. And then another one, like the what's it called? I don't know how, but like the one of the windshield or mirrors was like completely snapped off and wasn't even in the box when I got it. I'm like, great, now I got to return another one.
They can't. I don't know what it is with Hasbro, but even with the MP tracks,
they can't get tracks right.
You had a big old gap in between the backpack. And just, for some reason, they just cannot do tracks right. I don't know why.
I like tracks.
Somebody third party needs to do a good tracks.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I think a lot of it is because they try to put in that like flying mode, which shouldn't be too difficult to do considering that the toy did it by accident.
On the arms and stuff.
Yeah, it's like the OG toy did it by accident, so like it can't be too difficult to actually put it into like actually make it actually be part of a figure instead of accidental. There's already a thing.
That tracks is horrible. Those feet and tabbing that hood and fender in, all that was bad. It was all bad.
Actually, that was the reason why I held off, because when I was getting a bunch of MP figures, when I started collecting MP, I don't anymore, but when I was looking at all of them, and that was the main reason why it held me up from that tracks, because I know a lot of people are like, yeah, all these other ones are pretty good, but this one, it's got some issues, you know, at least compared to Takara's like earlier MP one. Yeah, they all didn't look great, but at least a lot of them held up.
Yeah.
Mick Fans Toys did a Legend scale tracks. I think I have him, and he was.
Oh, they did.
Oh yeah.
I think
How's
he's
that?
okay. He's all right. He's pretty good. I'm waiting for. I'm surprised that New Age or Magic Square hasn't.
Yeah,
yet.
I'm sure they'll get to it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm surprised that New Age hasn't come out with like a side swipe mold or anything, or like started coming out with more of their cards.
That's an easy color right there.
Yeah.
I need as many Sunstreaker and side swipes as I can get.
We just need a Sunstreaker for Legend Scale in general. We do not have one as far as I'm aware.
I think that we need a good Legend. Well, Mechanic Toys did a Hot Rod Rodimus, and it's pretty good. And I'm waiting for somebody to, especially New Age, since we got Galvatron, you know, Cyclonus. I'm waiting for somebody to do a Scourge. I think the New Age
should do a Scourge.
You know, get those three out of the way, then do a Hot Rod. They've already done like Ultra Magnus. They need to do a Blur and a Cup. They need to do some third season 3 stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that they're doing some of like the not most popular characters. Obviously, Ultra Magnus is popular, but like they did RC, they did
she's pretty popular. I think she's pretty popular.
I guess she's popular. I guess the main
touched on it on a lot of stuff. You know, they got Hound coming. They're doing the mini bots. You know, got
I got Power Glide on the way.
Me too. Make sure you use the discount code for Kato when you go to Safari.
I'll make sure to keep that. Will stay in the video. That will stay in the video. Go use
Kato's Toy Box 3% off.
This is a basic one.
We sidetrack everything.
I think that this is a very underrated figure compared to most others.
Tiss McGee? Hell yeah, I love
absolutely.
McGee, man.
Funny enough, I just saw a post like 2 hours before this. Someone posting up Reddit being like, yeah, it's a studio series. But I had someone on Reddit, someone posted like, can we all agree that this is like, they said legacy, which everyone corrected them in the comments. But like, can we agree this is one of the best like legacy figures we got? And I'm like, if it was legacy, sure. But studio series, yeah, it's an awesome figure. But yeah, I definitely think, in going to some of the points that we kind of talked about, it has a waist swivel. There goes his wheel. He has a waist swivel. He has an ab crunch. And on top of that, he can look up to use that ab crunch. So, and just like, okay, there's a couple minor things. Obviously, the waffles on the arms. No, Hasbro. Naughty.
There's a fix. There's a fix for those too. I think there's so many. There's a couple.
Oh, I know.
I forget which one I got, but they're really good too.
And honestly, one of the cooler parts about some of these kits is
weapon upgrade too as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, especially for the Junkions, because you can kind of mix and match a lot of these parts, and there are a few companies that have like different armor sets for Junkions, so it's like you can get fillers, and then at the same time, if you have another another Rekgar or whatever the other one's name is, it's like you can swap those pieces out and actually have it. I think Scrap Heat. No, Scrap Heat's the. I don't even remember. There's too many.
Scrap Yard? Is there a Scrap Yard?
Scrap Hook is the smaller one. Scrap Hook is a smaller one.
Crash Food Truck.
Crash
bar. And then there's another one.
Maybe it was Scrap Heat. I don't remember.
I think Scrap Heat is a retool of that one. Is a retool of Rekgar.
There's another Studio Series one.
If I owned it, I probably would remember, but I don't own that one.
He turns into a motorcycle, but he has the gun. The side.
He's got more gray pieces on him, I believe.
Yeah. But yeah, he has the guns on the side.
Crash Hog?
No. I do not remember. I think it is Scrap Heat. I guess I was right. I had no idea. I was just taking a guess. I'm like,
anybody that watches this later will be like, these dudes don't know a damn thing about it.
Are these guys even fans of Transformers?
That is so true. I'm so old.
But I guess, long story short, even though it's only a $30 Hasbro figure, but this is how they should be doing a majority of their Transformer figures, in my opinion, especially for the smaller ones, because the smaller ones, there should be like almost no excuse because they're smaller figures. I know they got a cheaper price point, but like you can put a filler in. It's not too hard to just put a piece of plastic that folds over the arm. You know what I'm saying? Like it can't cost that much more compared to whatever they're doing.
Not for what they're charging.
Yeah.
I think we touched, on every, aspect, what a good figure and a bad figure is. I think we basically all four of us touched based on something.
And I'm sure people in the comments will let us know that we missed some stuff. It's like, you didn't talk about this. How could you not?
But that's just, you know, if we didn't talk about something, then that's something that they like. That's something that we don't care about. You know, that are not. I don't want to say not care about, but it's not a big deal to us. You know.
You just said you don't care what the commenters say. Fuck,
God, man. What kind of man? Screw everybody. I'm taking my ball and I'm going home.
I know exactly what you're saying. You're pretty much saying like everyone's got their own things that they're going to focus on.
I'm not going to tell somebody how to feel about a figure. I know I do reviews, but I don't try to harp on, you know, you have to like this. You have to. I mean, it's just, you know, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you know, if you like it, you win. It doesn't matter what I say about it. You know,
exactly.
It's just, you know,
I just feel a lot of people. I feel a lot of people take whatever a reviewer says into too much, like takes it too personally, I guess you could say. Where it's like at the end of the day,
if you take it too personally,
you didn't like that figure. I love that figure. You're garbage.
Well,
exactly.
It's just like it. I didn't. You didn't pay for my stuff. I don't pay for your stuff. You don't pay my bills. I don't pay your bills. So I'm not telling you. I mean, if you like it, like I said, you win. That's all.
I always enjoy the you didn't do this part.
Oh yeah,
I got one the other day. Oh, you left the back panel on Jazz up. I'm like, who cares? Really?
Let me go back in and fix it. Oh wait, never mind.
Oh, it's already done. Don't care.
That's exactly. Yeah. Honestly, that's a perfect way of kind of putting things. Because actually, Kato and I are probably a good example of this because I'm someone who really enjoys exact opposite example, I should say, because I like to enjoy a lot of my figures with doing a lot of posing and stuff, so posability is a huge thing that I care about when it comes to my figures. But for Kato, he just wants to make sure it looks amazing on his shelf. He doesn't care if it can do a judo jump kick, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, that's cool if it can.
It is cool.
I'm only going to do it once.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to do it for a photo, and then you're going to put it back into your good old A stance, which is totally fine. But once again, it's like that. At that point, you're making sure if it's going to be standing in that A stance, it better freaking look good and stand up properly. You know what I'm saying? So everyone's got their own little things that they will focus on and what they think is a good and bad figure. But at the end of the day, it's really just whatever you prefer. It's don't fight people saying this is crap unless everyone else is saying that it's crap. Then go ahead, join the army. But other than that, it's like no. As long as Deluxe said perfectly and beautifully, whatever you enjoy, as long as you're happy with it, you're the winner. And if you're not happy with it, then maybe get rid of it. You know, it's like, oh well, trial and error.
There's some people that love Cabana Wars. Hey, Godspeed.
And they're wrong.
But, you know, I'm not here to tell you that. You make up your own decisions.
I said it. You're wrong. Cabana Wars Minosaur's trash. No one should like it.
Oh, God, I think so ugly. Him and Defensor. Defensor is the remember the Addams Family, the guy that opened up the door? Lurt. He looks exactly like him every time I see him. He's just looking over God, some of those Cabana Wars are just terrible. First thing I want to say, thank you so much, Pickerhead, for having us on, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was really fun. I like to do stuff like this. It makes my nipples hard whenever we get people get together and talk about stuff like this.
I like any stream I can be on where Deluxe is between my legs.
Get the hell out.
Well, I just got to say, thank all of you guys for taking the time to actually join me for this. This was really fun. It was definitely an interesting conversation because once again, I personally like talking about stuff that I think other people would be interested in hearing about. So that's why I thought this would be a good conversation, especially with a lot of people. Like, I definitely haven't been collecting as long as you guys, but you guys, including me and just everyone, has their own separate opinions and details on a figure. So it's really nice to hear what other people think is a good thing and what other people think is like not good on a figure.
Dude, I've been collecting 23 years as an adult, man. God bless America.
Yeah, I'm a youngin'. I've only been collecting figures in general for like 5 years, and I started with anime figures before Transformers. So like that's what that over there is.
I have an amazing G.I. Joe classified series vehicle that I'll be doing a video on this weekend. And it's not Swamp Skier. It's something else. It's pretty cool. And I've got some more stuff coming too. So it's going to be G.I. Joe vehicles everywhere. So it's they're pretty awesome. They're well done. The guy's nice, cool. He's a veteran and he does good work.
Hell yeah.
Can't wait
for your service.
Deluxe
I
was
was
in
in
the
the
Army.
military. I was in the military too. Put that out there.
And
Hey, I'm thanking all of you guys for your service.
working on that, and then I got some custom stuff I'm working on for a boat, and I have I got both
I'm on a boat.
both Omega Supremes. I still haven't opened yet, so
Oh, interesting.
Oh, I can see him back there. Yeah.
That's gonna be fun.
that's the next project I'm working on. So, but you can check me out.
Yeah,
on,
you're on an
YouTube.
amazing podcast.
yeah. Don't forget about checking out the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom official podcast, Facebook
Great
group,
podcast.
and official Animal Warriors of the Kingdom Monday night at 9:00 video on Kato's channel and my channel, where things will be seen that will be fantastic. So.
Awesome.
And it's not his penis.
Thank God.
But if you want,
Well,
If you want to,
For the
there's-
right
hey,
money.
That's that OnlyFans
OnlyFans.
content or whatever. Yeah, you can go charge a premium for that.
I'm
For
gonna
the
do
right
shirtless.
super chat.
Exactly.
I'm gonna do shirtless reviews now.
Deluxe hot tub reviews.
Damn right. I'm gonna be switching and switching.
We're gonna start doing shower time with the.
You got to do the
floor
you got to
time.
do the thing where you have a whiteboard and back. Oh, thank you for the 5 gifted, Benzo.
Oh yeah, definitely. When I do reviews all the time. I got Transformers. I got that command or the Transform rollout Commander Energon Optimus come in. I don't know if I'm gonna review them or not. I'm
You
not
are.
really having great fun for MP stuff anymore, but this looks pretty cool. It comes in alt mode anyway, so that's a bonus for me because I always start from alt mode. So I'll probably review that. Love 5.2 Toys. Like I said last night on my live, they actually reached out to me and they sent me something to review. So I'm grateful for that. I'm going to try to get that out sometime. But I love some 5.2 Toys. Yeah, that's about it. You can find me, on my YouTube channel. Definitely find me on Instagram. Same name, Deluxe Baldwin Reviews. I'm having a good time over there. Like I said, I've talked about even just going over just to Instagram.
You've been killing it on Instagram. I don't want to interrupt, but you've been killing it.
I don't know how, man. It's just like I said, it's that Optimus Prime camera, man.
You're the Larkin's Lair of Instagram.
I'm not that good, yet, but yeah, it took off, and I'm having fun doing little transformation things. It looks like people like that stuff, so I'm gonna keep doing that. So, but like I said, once again, thank you so much for having me on. I had a great time, and I just love doing stuff like this with Enewtabie, Kato, Larkin, all the other guys that we hang out with. I'm so ready for TFCon. I'm ready for BotCon. Speaker, you going to BotCon?
I'm going to try to be there at least for one day.
Meet you at BotCon. That'd be awesome. I'm going to be at BotCon too as well. So, yeah, thank y'all. Love y'all like step cousins.
I just uploaded a video. I've got to finish setting it up, but I've got that King Toys Rhino coming up. I got to figure out if I want to put it up this late at night or do I just want to wait till tomorrow? What's your vote?
That's always tough.
Late. I think a lot of.
I'll put it up.
I want to test waters. Maybe put stuff up like at 12 noon, see how it does, and then
I've tried all that. It doesn't change anything, and even YouTube even tells you that it really doesn't even matter.
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
But
it's a guessing
got that
game.
coming out. I've got a couple of upgrade kits coming out from TF Safari. I've got along with Enewtabie down there in the corner. We've got a show coming up Monday for Animal Warriors of the Podcast, a little special show with a little something to show off.
Piss off everybody.
Everyone should get really angry about probably. Then Thursday, May 11th, we have another episode of the podcast we're doing. That's going to be another special show that is going to be a lot of fun with some special guests in there to talk about and some big announcements to make on there on Thursday. So I've had so much fun messing with that stuff. Like, it's not replacing Transformers because that's always going to be like Transformers and G.I. Joe are always going to be like,
the bread and butter.
where I love to be at. But these independent toy company figures I've been having a blast with, especially
they're really good.
So it's fun to discover new stuff to do. Keeps it refreshing. But yeah, I've got a lot of stuff coming in. Got Magic Square Brawl coming in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Should be here soon.
Oh yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
Probably Monday.
I said New York or something.
Yeah, I think mine should be here Monday. It's nearby now, but it won't get delivered tomorrow.
No, mine's in Little Rock, so it'll get Monday. I'll get mine Monday.
Yeah.
Memo got his really quick, man.
Yeah, I don't know what he did. I don't know who he, how he.
But congrats! If Bimbo watches this, congrats on the 1,000.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's
Man.
huge.
That's a good dude, man.
Congrats on 1,000.
I met him last year. He's a good dude. Man.
Really good dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good guy. But that's other than that, I mean, business as usual. Some live streams, some reviews, some shorts, some reels. Business as usual.
Yeah.
Business.
Of course,
Pickup.
business.
Business is a booming. I'm in the business of
it's not.
killing Nazis. Business is a booming.
Well, I think on that note, we're going to end this here. Thank you once again, guys, for all joining me on this collaboration. It has been super fun talking to all you guys. And like I said, hopefully we can do some more stuff in the future. I would like to do some more stuff like this. This is really fun. And obviously, I like talking to a lot of other, just like, besides just regular collectors, I like talking about a lot of YouTube collectors as well, just because, I don't know, I feel like after doing so many reviews and actually owning so many figures and actually having to handle so much, you almost get a different perspective compared to someone who just buys the figure, puts it on a shelf, and then forgets it's there. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you put it on camera for 10 minutes. That's all you need to. But once again, thank you guys for checking out the video, and we will all catch you, or at least I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care.
Thanks for having us, man. Appreciate it.
All right.